Good morning. Abstinence. Experience, strength, and hope from members of Overeaters Anonymous. This looks like a bit of a long one, but a good one. Sweet surrender. There I was, sober and abstinent for 3 years. Back to normal in body weight, involved with daily meetings in South Bend, working closely with my sponsor and depending on all the tools for sanity. Then my boss offered me a 6-week job checking transmission lines in northwestern Pennsylvania. A new truck, video equipment, and a computer would help me cover 15 miles of line daily. Sounded almost like a vacation. But on the first day, I was shocked to discover I would have to hike 12 to 14 miles over rugged terrain just to cover a measly 6 miles of line in one day. Monday through Saturday, period. To inspect 490 miles of power lines would take 4 months through fall and into early winter. The job was impossible. I couldn't possibly finish it. Would I break a leg in the middle of the forest, be shot by drunken hunters, mauled by wild dogs, drowned in a swamp? Worst of all, none of the towns I stayed in was larger than Mishawaka, Indiana, and few people had ever heard of OA. I missed breakfast the first day because my boss refused to stop before reaching the site. I hiked 4 miles across rivers, fields, and pastures before sitting down to lunch at a greasy diner in Cannottville. I was hungry, but by the grace of God, I didn't binge. I ate an abstinent lunch. I didn't allow the circumstances to become an excuse for binging. For 2 weeks, I lost weight and starved between meals. I ate bigger portions, but nothing inappropriate. I didn't crave my binge foods. One night, I finished a big dinner in Meadville and felt like vomiting, choking back tears. I headed for the phone in the lobby. Thank God my sponsor was home. I felt I had binged, even though I hadn't. I want to cut my food intake, I cried. His reply, if you cut down, you'll set yourself up for a real binge. My sponsor says, your body needs the fuel, but your stomach is too small to stoke the furnace. Go slow, don't skip, pray, and get to a meeting. I discovered how the steps and tools can help me no matter where I am. The area had many strong AA meetings where I met new friends, even some OAs. Calling my recovery friends back home helped so much. I poured over an emergency stack of lifelines whenever I felt vulnerable to insanity and isolation. I learned how to zoom through forests, navigate around and through swamps, jump electric and barbed wire fences, climb Allegheny mountain trails, and crisscross timber, oil, and corn country. I had no partner, so I had to hike down line for a mile or two and backtrack to the truck alone. Soon, I noticed that my meals were all consistent, body weight and size returned to normal and stayed constant. I felt healthy and energized. All of this without trying to manage the food. A miraculous truce with food followed me every step of the way. The real crisis was accepting my job and my life in Pennsylvania. Would I finish? Would the boss crucify me for mistakes? Would I break the $3,000 equipment they made me haul cross country? When would I fall in love and live happily ever after? I found a meeting in Meadville, and a member talked to me afterwards. Sounds like you're fighting the program. You're making meetings, calls, inventories, prayers, and all that, but you're not letting go. Are you having fun yet? Fun? I stared at him like an idiot. Yes, fun. If you don't turn it over and surrender all your problems to God, how long do you expect to remain sober? My first surrender in a long time occurred soon after. I was hiking through a lowland woods in the pouring rain. I was I was Switches whipped my face as I struggled through dense, thorny bush. I had to videotape a tower for a second time, and I was angry. I have 3 degrees, talent, ambition, and ability. Why was I trudging through the woods counting poles? Then the serenity prayer came to mind, and for once I asked God to help. I said aloud the things I had trouble accepting: cold rain, soaked boots, the woods, a crazy job, and loneliness. Could I accept all these for one morning? An enormous burden fell from my shoulders. I felt at peace with myself. Finishing my task in harmony with the way things were became a joy. For the rest of that day, anxiety, obsession, and depression didn't take hold. Food and alcohol held all the appeal of rat poison. Every day left on the job, I surrendered. When I finally returned home, my portion sizes returned to normal. With God's help, impossible conditions became possible, one day at a time. This comes from a member in South Bend, Indiana. Yeah, that was a long one. Lots of details. Um, it's funny. I mean, I just simply identify because it's a, dare I say, I'm guessing that that's a man's story. And it's refreshing. I kind of wish there was a collection of men's stories in OA. Maybe that's something I can reach out to and find and put together. Because I'll be honest, it feels like a woman's fellowship, ironically. And forgive me if that, harms anybody. But it's what I feel. That's probably, when I say probably, that's soft language. It's definitely why I don't feel completely at ease in the Fellowship of Overeaters Anonymous. It's probably why I don't attend a lot of meetings. Um, but then that flip side says in my head, I mean, I've been going to NA and AA for a million years now. Exaggeration, of course. But it's overwhelmingly, predictably masculine, male meetings primarily. So a little bit of just desserts, if we can use that phrase. Um, so, whatever. I gotta surrender that most meetings are female dominated. So leave it alone. Whatever. Who cares? What does that have to do with me? Um, Bottom line is that I identify with this story in a lot of ways. Um, I still haven't fully, completely surrendered to OA's principles, to OA tools, and my abstinence is struggling. What a concept. You mean I can't get the whole program out of this book or the other book? Um, Maybe making meetings would make sense. Maybe communicating with my sponsor would make sense. I mean, I'm doing a few things and having a little bit of success, but it's not complete surrender. So, just for today, I got to get going. I got to go to work a little earlier than normal, and I want to be prepared. I want to prepare food. So, I'm going to move on and go about my day. I hope that anybody who watches this, good God, even all 10 minutes of it, that you have an abstinent day. Take care.